and welcome to the highlights from the Tennent's Premiership and Tennent's National Leagues. This week saw a return to action for the Premiership sides with some big games to look forward to. We'll also bring you highlights from Tennent's National 1 and we'll round up the action from Tennent's National Leagues 2 and 3. To start with though, we're in the Premiership for a top of the table clash where Currie travelled to Fullerton to take on Marr. This was the second time these two have met this season, with Currie running rampant in the reverse fixture to wrap up the win. And it was a similar story this time out, with the visitors starting quickly. Sean Fisher going over for the first points of the day after some clever work from Chieftain's scrum half Ryan Southern.
Penalty advantage. Sixth is never back onside and playing advantage. Good alley.
Shortly after, Gregor Hunter and Joe Reynolds combined to double Currie's advantage. And 2 became 3 inside 20 minutes. The Chieftains worked the ball from one side to the other, allowing James McCaig to touch down and run in unchallenged. Gregor Hunter added to Marr's misery, successfully kicking this penalty.
Great strike, Gregor.
And the bonus point was wrapped up before half-time. Currie lock Rhys Davies piling over from close range. The hosts finally got themselves on the scoreboard just before the interval. Fraser Grant scoring to give the home fans something to cheer. Once again, Currie started the second half as they did the first. Man of the match, Gregor Hunter, was involved, setting up McCaig for an easy run-in. He touched down to score his second and Currie's 5th try of the afternoon. This turned out to be the last try of the day for the visitors as Marr began to claw their way back into the game. Blair Jardine started the resurgence after some good work from the forwards. Jamie Shedden was next to go over the whitewash. He found space amongst a disorganised Currie back line, and after a clever dummy, he ran in unchallenged. With 5 minutes left on the clock, Marr picked up a bonus point with their 4th try of the day. Scott Bickerstaff finishing off a free-flowing move that even the All Blacks would have been proud of. Unfortunately, Sturgeon couldn't add the conversion, and that was the last of the scoring. Currie holding on to remain firm favourites for top spot. Elsewhere in the Premiership, there were 4 other matches. At Mansfield Park, there was a power cut, meaning Hawick GHA was switched to Volunteer Park in order to get the game played. To their credit, the last-minute change didn't seem to faze Hawick, who came out the blocks flying, scoring 6 first-half tries and building an unassailable lead for GHA to come back from. Jed Forrest got themselves a much-needed victory at Riverside Park with a bonus point win over Edinburgh Accies. Jed were excellent at the set piece, with the front row dominating the scrum and all scoring a try each. In Aberdeen, Glasgow Hawks and Aberdeen Grammar battled the elements of Storm Arwen on what was a freezing cold day at Rubislaw. Despite the conditions, it was a day to remember for Grammar, who got their first win of the campaign, beating Hawks comfortably in the end by 5 tries to 2. Another team desperate for a victory were Musselburgh, who, after a promising start, had gone on a 5-match losing streak. They scored 7 tries, including a hat-trick from Musselburgh's Sandy Watt, which brought to an end that streak with a comprehensive victory over Selkirk at Stony Hill. The win for Musselburgh lifts them above Selkirk and up into 6th. At the top of the table, Currie extend their league to 9 points over second place Marr. Aberdeen Grammar are still at the bottom despite picking up 5 points with their first win of the campaign. Aberdeen will look to build on their win with another home game next week against Marr. Elsewhere, Accies take on Musselburgh in a mid-table clash, and Currie face a trip to Glasgow to take on GHA. To Tennent's National 1 now, and we're at Megaland where Boroughmuir hosted Watsonians. Not only was there an Edinburgh Derby to look forward to, but there was plenty at stake, with both sides struggling for form this season. It was the visitors who got themselves on the score sheet first, Mark Wilson finishing off this move to give Watsonians some early confidence. Kerr Stoddart added to Watsonians' advantage with this penalty from about 35 yards out. Boroughmuir got themselves back in the game, however, winger Gavin Welsh picking up this ball and running in to score. Kerr Stoddart added this penalty to further extend Watsonians' lead. And then scrum half Brodie Young put Watsonians further in front, scoring from close range. Just before the break, however, Watsonians were pinned back and Boroughmuir got another try, this time in the other corner. Finn Devine, the man going over. Shortly after the restart, Watsonians scored again, their third try of the day from Corin Anderson. He picked the ball up on the halfway line, and once he got going, there was no stopping him. Boroughmuir were not done yet, however, and they got their third try of the day, this time through Rory Drummond with the picking. Boroughmuir got their fourth try of the day, and with it, a bonus point. Callum Anderson gathered his own kick and unselfishly set up Ali Bain to run in for the easiest of scores. Watsonians managed the final stages really well, and they took their chances from the tee, Kerr Stoddart scoring 3 penalties to put the game beyond all doubt. Boroughmuir did hit back, however, with a try through Rory Drummond, his second of the day, but it was all in vain as Watsonians picked up their first win of the campaign. There were 5 other matches across Tennent's National 1. Highland's long trip to the west coast was worthwhile after coming out on top in a relatively low-scoring encounter with Ayr. For Ayr, they'll be disappointed to fall to what was their first home defeat this season. Gala's good form on the road continued. They got the better of Stirling with a bonus point win, their 4th victory on the road so far. Biggar got back to winning ways with a hard-fought victory in Dundee. Their win keeps them in 3rd spot, but with 2 games in hand on the teams above them, a win in both of them could see them go top. Heriot's 7-game winning streak came to an end at Golden Acre. They were defeated by the team from the Borders, Melrose, who won by 2 in the end in what was a very close game. Despite a slow start to their campaign, Kelso have found themselves in recent week, and the side from the Borders made it 5 wins on the spin, beating Cartha Queen's Park at Pointer Park. Melrose victory over Heriot's closes the gap on league leaders to just 3 points. At the bottom, a much needed win for Watsonians sees them close the gap on Dundee and Boroughmuir above them. Watsonians will get the chance to chip away at that gap even further next week as they host Dundee at Mireside. Elsewhere, Highland host high-flying Kelso and Heriot's are at Cartha. Taking a look at Tennent's National 2 now, and there were big wins from the bottom 3. Whitecraigs got their first win of the season at home to Peebles, while Gordonians won against Newton Stewart and Kirkcaldy thumped 3rd place Dumfries. Stewart's Melville also won a close game with Glasgow Accies, which meant that they kept pace with leaders GHK. Whitecraigs will be looking to keep up their momentum as they face Stewart's Melville this weekend. Elsewhere, Peebles host Kirkcaldy and GHK will travel north to play Gordonians. In Tennent's National 3, Strathmore got the redemption for last week's loss to Ardrossan by comfortably beating them this time out. Lastwade continued their unbeaten run, winning their 11th straight game, this time beating Murrayfield Wanderers. However, Fife are up to 4th in the table after Hillhead Jordan Hill lost to West of Scotland. Those 2 sides will meet this weekend at Bunbrae, while Berwick will come back from their week off as they take on Murrayfield Wanderers at home. Elsewhere, there's a big game at the bottom of the table as Ardrossan Accies host Greenock Wanderers. So big wins at the bottom of the table across all leagues, in fact, with Aberdeen Grammar, Watsonians and Whitecraigs all picking up their first wins of the campaign. At the top of the table in the Premiership, though, it's Currie who continue to lead the way, and they make it 10 wins on the spin and look in pole position to maintain that top spot. In Tennent's National League 1, it's anyone's game really, with Heriots losing, and now only 6 points separate the top 5. If you're out and about this weekend watching the rugby or indeed playing, make sure you wrap up warm. We'll see you next time.